Good morning and welcome back to News Breakfast.
Good morning, James.
On the final sitting day, could you have imagined returning to Canberra knowing that you'd knocked off the Liberal Party's leader Peter Dutton and the leader of the Greens, Adam Bandt, as well?
Well, the truth is, James, I don't think anybody could have projected that. I was confident, based on the work that we'd done over the previous 3 years, especially in my space of trade, that we would be returned with a majority, but even I couldn't believe the results as they came in on Saturday night. I think the Greens have suffered because so many times in the last Parliament they blocked sensible policies of the Albanese government. They voted with the coalition in the Senate to block, for instance, legislation on housing, sensible housing policy, and I think they've paid the political price for that.
This outcome must be deeply satisfying for you personally. I just wonder, have you ever felt so satisfied after an election win? Where does this rank? Is it the sweetest victory, almost a fairy tale for Labor?
Look, it doesn't get any better than this, James, when you've been involved in politics as long as I have. This has to be the sweetest victory of all.
There you go. Now, there's a trade war happening. I'm not sure where you're going to end up, but if you are reinstalled as Trade Minister, you'll have a lot on your plate. Do you know where you'll head first of all?
Look, we've got a number of objectives that we will need to prosecute very quickly. On election night, I got messages from my European colleagues. They're very keen to re-engage and have another crack at a EU free trade agreement. EU, 450 million people, $17 trillion economy. They'll be very important if we can get a breakthrough there. The Indians also contacted me. We were very close to a new free trade agreement with them. And I think we can move very quickly now to finalise that agreement. And of course, in the next few weeks, our new free trade agreement with the United Arab Emirates, which sends all of our products into the UAE tariff-free, will come into force, and that will be important. And of course, we want to continue discussions with the United States. We believe in free and fair trade.
Yes.
And that's the argument we'll be prosecuting with them.
I think it'll be closely watched. Do you expect to head to either China or to the United States first?
Look, we'll worry about that after we know who the new Trade Minister is next week.
Oh, that's fair.
But we will move very quickly to ensure that Australia's interests are protected here. China, of course, is our largest trading partner. We're concerned about the tariff war between China and the United States. We believe in free and fair trade, and we think that those tariffs should be removed on China.
OK, you are a factional leader of the Labor right. You were once unkindly referred to as a faceless man. Of course, you do have a face, and here you are speaking to us. What are you asking the Prime Minister for, though? You've got a lot of influence as these ministerial portfolios are carved up. Only a face that a mother could love, I'm afraid,
James.
Oh, that's not true, Don.
And they do call me other things too, by the way. That's just not one of the things they call me. Look, I'm not going to give the Prime Minister any advice on what he should do. He's won a fabulous victory here. He ran a flawless campaign. His strategy throughout the whole of the last term was about getting re-elected and continuing the policies that we took to the election. I'm very happy to leave it all to him and to accept whatever he might wish me to do in the new government.
OK, just before I let you go, I want to get you on an international issue that's been developing. Has the Albanese government made any contact with India or Pakistan regarding these cross-border strikes we're seeing?
Look, that's an issue, of course, that is in the hands of our very competent and successful Foreign Minister, Penny Wong. But of course, we don't want to see any conflict in our region. we'd like to see an end to the conflict in the Middle East, the conflict in Ukraine, Russia, and we certainly don't want to see any conflict in our own region.
And Don, just one last one. We saw black smoke this morning from the Vatican. You went to the Pope's funeral. I'm not sure what that was like, but do you have a personal preference of who the next Pope should be or the direction of the Catholic Church? I'm guessing this is outside the bounds of your factional influence.
Well, as a matter of fact, James, I do have a personal favourite in the conclave at the moment, and that is the Australian Ukraine Cardinal Bishop. I was lucky enough to meet with him twice while I was in Rome. He's a very, very fine man, a very holy man. I'd like to see him as the next Pope. My wife, on the other hand, who's Filipino, she would like to see Cardinal Tagle as the next Pope, and we also had the opportunity of meeting him at the Vatican. So there's a couple of candidates for you, James.
There you go. Well, we'll